Today in the news on Vanguard Live, and of course, welcome back from the Judgment Day. And we'll start off with the front pages of the papers this morning. Looking at the Vanguard this morning, Vanguard is Atiku Obi's petition against the Tinubu failed. That's come from Tribunal. Highlights of the judgment: Obi LP failed to prove regain over voting. Portion of Obi's petition vague, imprecise, nebulous, bereft of particular material. Nominated by LP. Shetima validly nominated as APC vice presidential candidate. No evidence Tinubu was convicted in US for drug trafficking. Tinubu not indicted, arraigned, tried, or convicted in US. $160,000 forfeiture of civil matter, not criminal conviction. INEC can't be forced to transmit election results electronically. On 25% vote, Abuja not special than other states. And on page 26, a news analysis of the ritual of substantial compliance at the PEPC. We can see some of the notable people there. Strike day two, we recorded greater compliance. NLC says workers have sent a serious message to federal government. Multiple taxation hindering Nigeria's economic growth, and that's come from NCC. Pandemonium as fire got to Lagos Airport. You can read more on page 10. ACS 23, UN calls for $500 billion annual SDG funding for developing countries. Stories above. Tinubu in India attracts a $14 billion investment. Fee hike, policemen tear gas protesting UNILAG students. UK to declare Wagner Group terrorist organization, and that's coming from reports. And of course, the first 100 days, Tinubu's administration as it was in Lagos. You can read more on page 14. Let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper. Guardian is leading with Tribunal affirms that Tinubu's victory, dismisses the petition. There's a quote that's saying, having considered that all the three petitions are devoid of merit, I hereby dismiss all the petition. I affirmed the declaration by INEC that Ahmed Bola Tinubu is duly elected president of Nigeria. Why election matters are difficult to prove in court by Tonye Cole. 17.7 million Nigerian hungry. Uh, 17.7 million Nigeria hungry. 1 million others face acute food insecurity. You can see that on P3. 6,000 cargoes abandoned in Apapa, Tinkan port since 2011. Athletics, why it is all wobbly, fumbly at Budapest track. Stories above. Stakeholders raise concern over next hike in price of prepaid meters. Tribunal sacks another Kogi senator, declares Akpoti Udwaha winner. Let's take a look at the Nation newspaper. The Nation is leading with Tinubu Shetima floor Atiku Obi at Tribunal. The writer says the Tribunal strikes out a petition of PDP, LP, APM candidates. Shetima, Ganduje, Damagom, Abure, governors, ministers, others in court. President welcomes verdict, seeks support. Jubilation in India, and of course the highlight and also a section of the quotes that was taken. If the FCT is to be treated like every other states of the federation, then it is not superior to any other state. Scoring 25% of votes cast in the FCT is not a separate precondition for candidates to be deemed as duly elected under the section 134 of the Constitution. Stories above. NLC directs members to resume work. Fire got fans account unit, airport basement. Tribunal sacks another Kogi APC senator. And of course, last year in front page of the Nation, $14 billion deal with Indian businessmen excites president. Let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with Atiku Obi plan appeal as election tribunal dashes bid to sack Tinubu. Right, it says Atiku Obi's rigging allegation not proved, e-transmission not compulsory, says PEPT. It's victory for democracy. Tinubu APC hail judgment. LP Atiku fume for tribunal. Tribunals, APC loses two National Assembly seats. PDP wins one. 17-year-old boy locks in parents, steals car, others. Stories above. Consumer protesters, federal government hikes electricity meter price by 40%. And last year on the front page of the Punch newspaper, gas revenue drops by 3.3 trillion naira in 12 months, and that's coming from reports. And that's what we can take on the front pages of the papers this morning. Join us after the break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us today in the news on Vanguard Live, I am Precious Chukudi. And joining me to talk about some of the stories on the front pages of papers this morning is Mr. Oludari Mayowa, publisher of Global Financial Digest. Good morning, sis. Good to have you join me this morning.
Yeah, good morning, and thanks for having me today.
Yeah. All right. As I said initially, welcome back from the Judgment Day, and let's take a look at exactly. I mean, we all watched the judgment from the presidential election petition court yesterday, dismissing the petition of the opposition parties against the president's election. What are your thoughts?
Thank you very much. First of all, for me, the judgment is not unexpected, really. Number one, we are seeing in Africa. I don't expect a court, the tribunal, to upset the already established system. Don't forget that the president has been sworn in, has nominated, has appointed ministers, he has changed the service chiefs, he has restructured the economy in a way. And to offset, to dismiss it, or to remove him will be extremely difficult in a country or in a plural society like our own. Secondly, going to the judgment, going to the judgment and the reading, I saw some level of loopholes in the procedure of the challengers, in the sense that, and when you look at the system, really, it's very difficult for you to even get your material from INEC, and because of the timeline, country Nigeria is a very big nation, for you to assemble all your witnesses and the rest, and for the agent from all over the world, for you to gather them together and present them as a witness in the case, it might be very difficult to really prove the case. So for me, I'm not totally surprised at the outcome. And I'm only annoyed with some of the judges, because some of them actually stray away from the issue of legal and go to area of sentiment and politics, which for me should have been totally avoided.
All right. Some people are of the opinion that that our electoral issues in this country are largely as a result of our constitution. Our constitution. What do you think about it?
I'm not sure. It's not a constitutional issue, really. We have one of the best acts for 2023 election, which guarantee that we will improve on the level of transparency in election in terms of the beavers, accrediting voters and win voting and uploading to the IRF and the rest. And that's give us a confidence that we could actually operate a free and fair election. But don't forget that we are all these things, all the system are operated by a human being, and who have biases, who have their own preference, and who have their own needs too. And I could recollect going around the polling booth during the election. I talked to some of our agents. Some of those agents are people who live in the locality, who have already identified with the popular political party in that area. Some of those who represent Labour Party, PDP, or APC, they are not really the agent of those parties. They collect their money from them, and they can do the bid of the other people, depending on who had the money. And money play a major role in the election this year, because people are sway, officials were sway, that kind of thing. So it's a very difficult. No matter how beautiful the constitution is, the people are sick who are zero manage system and need to be disciplined, need to be committed to the work. And without that, we can have an election that is flawed again and again. So it's not about the constitution, it's not about the law, it's about the people, really.
All right, so let's just take a look at some of the highlights of the judgment from the court. And it was one is like the fact that there was no evidence that Tinubu was convicted in the US over drug trafficking, and that the $460,000 fine was imposed is a civil matter. What do you make of that?
I'm not a lawyer, so but sometimes when you ask, it's sometimes very difficult for you to explain certain things. Somebody has a money in a bank account, and the money was forfeited because it was a proceed of crime, and you said it is money that was they have been legally buying and not the person. For me, I can't wrap my head around such conclusion, really. But if that is a law, well, We cannot question the law. But unfortunately, it doesn't align with reasoning. In the sense that if, for example, somebody, I have a bank account, money was in my account, and the source of the money was found to be a criminal money, and you say you are taking the money away, it doesn't affect me who put the money in the account. I can't relate with it. But again, who am I to question the law? The law is the law. So to say, without what they do, but it doesn't align to it with reasoning, really, in the sense of it.
Also, let's look at the issue of INEC transmitting the result. The court said that INEC cannot be forced to transmit the election results electronically. As you know, we saw Beavers as the game changer for this election. What do you make of that?
Yeah, to a large extent, the justices are right on that. For me, I look at it, there's a lacuna in that, because we operate in a country that I remember 2 days ago, I want to go and buy token for my meters from NEPA. They debited my account twice, and it was not. I mean, I didn't get the service for me. They had to debit my money to call my bank to reverse my money. They were looking for network. In other case, they are looking for network. So in a situation where network can fail, sometimes the INEC doesn't have control over such situation. Yeah, we can say it was manipulated, but many of us are trying our bank, we are sending money to people and it don't get to the person, and they debited your account. Many times you want to send money on mobile banking, and you can't do that because there was no network. So we are battling with some of this system default in our society. So even though the law said they are compelled to transmit live, and they run to issues or glitches, what can they do? They can't do anything. So for me, it's very difficult for us to actually state that particular condition that they upload rightly. Of course, I knew for the fact of the matter that in my own polling booth, for example, what they were declared the poll was different from what was uploaded on the RF. I have that evidence for me personally. But again, such case is very difficult to prove for me, really. So it just might be right in that sense, really.
Also, we know that one of the contentious issue was the 25% vote in the FCT. Now, the court said that the scoring 25% of votes in the FCT was not compulsory for one to be declared winner, because FCT has no special status over the other 36 states of the federation. So is it safe to say that we have like 37 states now?
Yeah, I think the constitution need to be amended to make it clear about the status of FCT, really, so that we won't have this lacuna, this ambiguity of definition of what is the 25% of FCT. Ordinary interpretation means that we can elevate ICT above other states. If the result of the vote in FCT is bigger than the other states, then we are making them a special people. For me, ordinary interpretation cannot be. But of course, the constitution was wrongly framed and causing those lacuna, those confusion, those ambiguity in that sense. So the constitution need to be amended to make it clearer. Of course, the judgment of the court, if the Supreme Court affirm it, it has become a law, it has become a precedent, so to say. But the National Assembly need to really amend that, still need to amend that law to actually make clearer what is the status of the FCT.
All right, let's move ahead and talk about this. Of course, the NLC ended the 2-day warning strike to protest the negative consequences of petrol subsidy. Now, according to them, they said that they recorded a greater compliance on day 2 than the first day of the industrial action. Let's take a holistic look at the warning strike by NLC. What are the merits and demerits?
For me, the NLC were under pressure to act. Some people are really losing confidence in them. That's why they had to go out to call for warning strike and the rest. Don't forget, we are so divided in this country that the Labour Party cannot actually muster that strength. For example, the warning strike they did take place in Lagos and in some other part of the country, because of the political affiliation, And like I always say, don't forget we are dealing with people who have affiliation, who have support. Don't forget that we have sentiment, and people are suffering the sense of it, and something needs to be done to call the attention of the government to the suffering in the land. But Labour Union is under pressure, and there's little they can really do. And because this, for example, thieves didn't follow them. So there's a division among the union already. And what they have done, I can commend them for. They have really done in the face of difficult challenges for them to call off outside strike in some part of the country, and it was effective. But in instance of it, if the strike has lasted more than that today, it will have collapsed. So that's it. That's where we are finding ourselves in this country. Unless we still need the civil society. Our civil society are very weak. That the people can galvanize people's support to rally down the cause, and they are no longer there because most of them are joining politics. Most of them have been sold out and all the kind of things. We need to revive the civil society who can galvanize people to actually, because Nigeria need a protest. They need to call the attention of the government to what is going on, because it seems that they are not aware. They are living life as if nothing is happening in this country today. That's what we are seeing from the government appointee, for their entourage, for their convoys, for the larger than life lifestyle they are living. They are telling us that it doesn't touch them. They are not aware of it. They are not concerned about it. So we need to really prickle their heart by protest, by calling people to action, calling their attention to what is happening. But labor union cannot really do that in the present situation of this country.
All right, let's just touch on the president's 100 days in office. And, people are of the opinion that the president would have to actually familiarize himself with the concept of the known and the unknown. Also, what do you think about the economic policies that the president has put out since his 100 days in office?
Over and over again, I said those are the simplest thing to do. Remove the forest subsidy, abolish the dual key rates, and just go and sleep. Those are very easy to do. You can make a pronouncement and everything can go out of hands. What I've seen the last 100 days of the President Tinubu is that he has made some salient pronouncement on the economy in terms of fuel subsidy removal, change rate abolition, and all that. But what follows? What action follows? What matter is that what are you doing to ensure that, for example, we increase our earning, foreign exchange earning, so that in strengthening the foreign exchange market, once there is a liquidity in the market will stabilize. What is government doing to ensure that we attract more foreign exchange to this country? What are we doing to block all the loopholes and to reduce the pressure on the market? Because all we are seeing that government printing naira and they are pumping naira money into the system, and government officials are using that naira to buy dollar and to keep. That's what we have been seeing all over. What has government done? What are the background work they has done? We are removing the fuel subsidy. What are the steps taken to ensure that we have local refining of fuel? What are the steps taken that we can boost local production of some of these things that can reduce the pressure? I've not seen action that follows those announcements. For me, it's all soundbite. There have not been specific follow-up. There have not been specific action that back up those policies that will ensure their effectiveness. I've not seen them happen. I just see government appoint ministers and all of them making noise, making announcements about the place. There should be action point. That's okay. We are remove subsidy. These are things we need to do. There are transport. We have to improve the transportation system. How many buses has government released into the system to reduce the pressure on the people? None. What has government done in terms of food production, food security, to ensure that there's a reduction? There's a food supply, enough food supply in the country that will reduce the pressure on the people. None. But not seeing people moving. Even the so-called palliative is badly managed. I've seen, say for example, they have 300,000 bags of 10 kilograms of rice to share for palliative, and gather some crowd somewhere and shoot a photo up and giving them bags. That's not the way to transmit some of these things to make impact in the system. There must be a holistic way where you are using palliative, it can get to the right people at the right time without any showmanship. But we're not seeing those things happening in our system. So for me, I will not commend the president for have done anything fantastic. You need to sit up and need to work his ass out to ensure that this economy is revived. That is the only way we cannot commend him for doing anything. But right now, I'm not seeing anything.
All right. According to reports, the president's trip to India has attracted about $14 billion on investment. What are your thoughts?
Those are the intention, those are expression of interest. If they are not materialized, they are not amount to a concrete investment in the country. It's a promise, they promise you that cannot, that will not be redeemed forever. So for me, it's part of the standby, part of the politics, part of the optics to drive excitement that government is doing anything. You know, until we see those investments flow into the country, we see those people coming to this country and investing, until we improve the system. In my environment, in the last 3-4 days, electricity have been very terrible. Like somebody was sitting between the switch and switching off and on. And if you say one people want to invest, for example, I spent so much money. I've seen on generator this morning, for example. So is that the economy that people want to come and invest when your cost of production will be higher and you are not going to be competitive with the importation of such product? So government need to do much more to show they are serious in reviving the economy. That they attracted so much investment is just a standby for me. Until we are seeing the improvement in area they ought to see improvement, until we are seeing the materializing of this, then it's not yet good for us.
All right, moving on. According to the Nigerian Communications Commission, they have said that multiple taxation will hinder economic development in the country. Do you agree, and why?
Sure, if people are overtaxed, people will go to where they are less taxed. People will migrate to Ghana, to other places. So government need to streamline. Although of what they are doing such thing like that, they have appointed a committee for fiscal and tax reforms to work on those things. We are expecting their outcome of their work, so that government will actually tidy up the tax system and reduce money. When you travel from one state to the other, don't look at the other, there are taxes you pay that are not recorded anywhere. There are touts collecting taxes that are not recorded in government policy, and those put pressure on the finances of companies that are put in this environment. And if there is so much pressure on the company and they are reduce their margin, there won't be attraction to come and operate in this system, and it reduce the productivities, reduce the employabilities, reduce the economic growth in the sense of it. So government need to do anything, do what they need to do to actually reform the tax system, so that we can eliminate those who are no unnecessary tax and expand the tax net that can accommodate more people in it. That's where we can make a great economy.
All right, let's look at Mr. and Mrs. before we go. And Mrs. is speaking. She says, the boutique attendant only asked a question. He said, won't you buy this necklace for madam? You hissed and sneered at him. Only a child behaves that way. Are you a baby? And Mr. replies, is that not what you call me every day?
Because the look at me, why who send you message? The look at me attraction to the sales girl as well. So it's subject to interpretation, and for me it's one of those things, a banter that keep people who are serious know that should be that kind of a rapport in marriage, excitement, funds, and the rest. Good one.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Uzdari Mayowa, publisher of Global Financial Digest. Thank you for sharing your thought with us this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me today, and regards to everybody behind the scene. God bless you.
Yeah. Also, remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. To find out up-to-date stories, go to our website, www.vanguardindia.com. To find out more, I am Precious Chukudi, and thank you for watching.